And there we go. The microphone is on. Welcome everyone. Glad to have you all on board today. I'm your host, DrFox2000, and you're watching VolcanoX, a live stream. And of course on the screen right now you got canned lava, because we got no real lava anywhere, and I'm disappointed. But hey, I gotta bottle that disappointment, just as well as my Monday. That was very disappointing. Everything I seem to be touching is going sideways. It's one of those days where, you know, you just want to go back to bed and not even worry about the day and just leave it alone. But anyway, welcome everyone, and hope you all have a better Monday than I did. And hopefully everything is moving forward and happy for all of you. Boy, let's start out with, well, first off, yeah, welcome everyone. Glad to have you all here. Piggy, you had a Monday too? I hope you had a better one, yeah. Anyway, I have those kinds of days too, says Sue. Okay, yep. Yeah, they happen. And, you know, we have to kind of keep going, though, right? And that's the whole thing behind it. And definitely want to keep going with everything that's going on. So, hey, just got to, you know, chalk it up as a bad day and carry on, keep smiling and move forward. So, one of those things. Anyway, welcome to all the moderators. Arizona Snowman, Piggy obviously in the house. Welcome, Piggy. Glad to see you back in here. And probably C&D Boy will be along somewhere along the way. And perhaps Gary, 24/7 Live, AZ Skies hiding in the background. Oh, I see thumbs up from C&D Boy. Excellent. And let's see. We may also have Lucas Snow in the background somewhere, and um, Joseph Fields, that's his name. I had to think about that. Told you I'm having a Monday. Oh boy. Anyway, welcome to everyone, and we'll see if we can get things working here. Hopefully I'll give the cookies to the right person here. Oh, Lizoid was #1 today, and Lizoid gets the cookies. Hopefully I did that right. There we go. So let's look at something kind of weird first before we get into too much of the other stuff, and before they disappear off my screen. We're going to go over to Iceland, and we're going to look at the earthquakes. And right now they are at 344 in the last 24 hours. That number was a little bit higher, but it died down a little bit. And I just wanted to show you on the screen what kind of a big pile of earthquakes is out there. And now that I moved it, I've lost several of them. I shouldn't have done that, but there were 4 earthquakes that were over 4 in the magnitude, and they're continuing. I think there are still 2 of them there that are over 4. 4.26 is the one. Yeah, I think we're maybe we got rid of 1 or 2 or 3. But yeah, they're in there, and that is happening. And I figured we'd point that out before we get into saying hi to everyone else, and all good. So anyway, looking at that is very interesting. We remember having this about a month or so, maybe even 2 months before we had Siggy's fissure open up, and this could be a prelude to that. And anyway, and yeah, I wanted to mention what Piggy is talking about there. And of course, you know, we didn't say too much on here. Poppet had gone missing from Piggy's place right after the 2 dogs passed, and had been gone for almost 2 weeks, or I guess about 2 weeks now. And luckily today, Poppet came back, so that is all good. And I know I didn't want to publicize it or push it out there. Piggy had shared that with me quite a while ago, and I just wanted to kind of keep things quiet. And I was hoping that the cat would come back, and the cat did. So we're all good, and definitely need to be happy about that. So that is a positive thing for today. Poppet is back. So the Kraken of Kos is doing well, and we'll see if we can throw up Poppet's picture later. I want to crop that a little bit so we can get a better close-up shot, but we'll see what we can do during the break to get that done. So that is awesome, and we like it. Anyway, let's get at saying hello to everyone in here. And we'll start out with, let's see, we'll go with Brian and Perfectability 999. Welcome. Kananaska's Country is here. Connie Tyree also on board. And the one with the funny symbols. Methane is a greenhouse gas. Unlike carbon dioxide, it is, where is the outrage from Greta? Outrage. Yeah, methane's been produced here for a long time, and of course, methane basically comes from biomatter, decaying biomatter, and other places like the back end of a cow or a horse. Anyway, let's leave that alone. Also, welcome to John Raper, Kananaskis country. Charlotte is here. Oz is in the house. Welcome, Oz. Hermione Schaefer and Fluffy also here. Good to have you guys on board. And Trev T. Winky Wonky Donkey is here. And Kevin, and boy, I don't know if I'm going to mispronounce it now. Is it Kevin Haynes? Shortened a little bit, and it almost looks like Kevin Hands now. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll talk afterwards there and see if we get the proper correction on it. Anyway, no worries on the shorter name base there. All good. And Sue Hayes in the house. Welcome, Sue. And going up some more, we got those guys. Okay, going. Got Kananaskis already. And sliding up the list here, Tom Truelove, welcome. I'm glad to have you on board. Kevin Williams also here. And going up a little bit more, looking for more wonderful people that we need to say hi to. King Colin Deadman, welcome back. And who else we got? Going up. We got John already. And who? I'm just looking for more names here, guys. Brian Perfectibility 999 in the house. I think I might have said that. Storm Chaser 1211, welcome. I'm glad to have you here. And Echo the Bot is also here. Welcome, Echo. And going up some more. Looking for more wonderful names. And let's see. Scott Hartman is here. Welcome, Scott. And still scrolling upward. Lots of people in here, though. That's good. Or at least lots showing in the chat. And very good. Don Arnold, aloha. And who else? Hey, by the way, Don's not in Hawaii. He's on Vancouver Island. Just so you know. He can't quite see Hawaii from where he is, but close. If he climbs up on a tall mountain, he might be able to. Nah, he wouldn't. His eyesight, I don't think, is that good. Doesn't account for the curvature around the world, right? And Linda Schoof also in the house. Welcome, Linda. I'm glad to have you on board. And did I miss anyone else on the bottom here? Okay. Lambda Theta Phi or Pi. Phi? Lambda? Okay, how about we just say it Lambda? That's easier for me because trying to say Lambda Theta, it's either Pi or Phi at the end. That's too much. I'll just go Lambda. Lambda. I think that'll work. Hopefully that's acceptable. Kathy also in the house. Welcome, Kathy. Glad to have you on board. And let's see, what else we got? Looking for more wonderful names there. Anyway, I don't think there's anybody else that I missed. Anyway, if I did miss you, I do apologize. I try to say hi to everyone. It's just I'm having a bad day today. Anyway, looking at what we see here in Iceland, though, that is a tremendous amount of small quakes. The number is dropping a little bit. We're down to 339 in the last 24 hours. So it's on a decrease, but still having seen this at the end of the Reykjanes Peninsula, this is, of course, on the Reykjanes Ridge. And they've been going pretty darn good. You know, even way out here, we got a 3.5, 4.2 kilometers down. And again, that is 5 minutes after midnight their time. So That's already 24 hours ago, or basically in that time frame. And there were others that were greater than 4. I think they actually showed a 4.5 in there at one point in time. And I just wanted to point some of these out. 4.26 for this guy, 8.5 kilometers down. That was, of course, from that's actually fairly fresh there. No, it isn't actually. 2336. So we've seen some of these in the show yesterday, just as they were starting, and we did have a few bigger ones in there as well. So very interesting to see that. 2334 for that, 4.0, 5.4 kilometers down type of thing. So kind of neat to see, but makes you wonder, is there something going on there? And the fact that it is going kind of sideways here when you look at this cluster, I'm more inclined to believe that this is something tectonic, because we've had a lot of movement, and it's pretty interesting though to see that. Now, one of the things I did mention here was that we had this kind of a thing happen a little while, whether it was a month or so before we had Frega del Fial erupt again. This did happen, and then this subsided, and then we ended up with all of a sudden starting to get an increase in quakes on the Reykjanes Peninsula. So this may be a prelude to more wonderful bacon coming out, and we'll see what happens. But gonna just kind of play it by ear. I'm not going to try to over glorify anything here. It is what it is. I mean, we do have tectonic action there, and we know the plate's been moving, both Eurasian plate as well as the North American plate, and you see that all the way around the entire plate where you see that movement, and that includes, of course, up by Jan Mayen and the Svalbard areas, where we see quite a few of those quakes up there, and then way down at the other end of the Reykjanes Ridge, where we've seen that swarm happening there. And of course, with all that, there's always some kind of a pressure pushing up against these plates, even though these are more of what we refer to as a slip plate, where they should be sliding past each other or pulling apart. And if one plate is slightly askew, you're going to end up getting the friction in between the plates. But since they're supposed to be coming apart, to create more land under there, it's going to be interesting to see what will happen in the future. And like I say, if one of the plates is not quite pulling away at an equal base, then we're going to have that. Maybe a new island, possible, Lizoid. That is actually very, very possible. And the one reason I would say that is that area is very shallow. And I can actually show you that. If we go and... Pardon me, I'm going to go to the other map here. I don't know if it'll work on the USGS, but it should to a degree, and we'll zoom in on the Reykjanes Ridge, and no, it's not going to work on this one unless I go to Ocean View, maybe. Let's see if that'll work. Yep, that'll work. Okay, so at least down to there. Where the quakes are happening is in this region here. Okay, and when we're looking at that, so there's your Reykjanes Peninsula, and then the Reykjanes Ridge going all the way out. And right in here is a raised area, Now, I was trying to find out if there was, volcanic activity way back when in this area, and I could not see any. And then this little rise here, of course, the lighter the color, the shallower it is. So this one here actually has that island on it, and that's kind of interesting too. But this one, that's a fair-sized plate that got pushed up, and with all the quakes happening going across in this area, it makes you wonder, is this area going to get pushed up, or are we in fact getting a split between the two, and that area could actually subside if it pulls apart? We could end up with a rift in the middle of it, that kind of thing. So these are things that are possible. Not saying that they will occur, but those are definitely there. Here's those little islands there. There's that little speck there, and then this one, that was on the smaller one of the two rises. So that's kind of interesting. And this was actually a volcano from, I do believe it was back in 1200 and something that it last erupted, if I'm not mistaken. But I may be off with that, but somewhere thereabouts. It was an older one. So kind of interesting stuff there. Anyway, let's go have a look and see what we actually have going on. I'm going to pause our canned lava, get rid of the banners, and we'll take a look at what Iceland looks like right now. Of course, there is, we don't have any volcanoes to look at, but there's the city of Reykjavik, capital city. If we back that up, you can see they actually had a fairly nice day there, and that was kind of what they were experiencing, so not that bad. I don't know if the sunset will turn out very nice there, since it's not in the frame anymore. Well, that's not a bad sunset, and that's what it was looking like at the early evening portions for them. So not a bad day there, and all good. And putting that back to live, that's what it looks like. The other view, of course, right now has the moon, and that is nice, but it is kind of a hazy shot right now. I don't know if that camera had gotten wet or what the scoop is, but it may have some steam or something that came up and sat on the lens and kind of stuck there. You can still see the snow on the mountains in the background, so not bad there. And if we go back to the other one, actually that wasn't too bad of a picture there. It was raining out near Kevlab, but we couldn't see the ice fields very well. And let's see if we can, maybe a little bit earlier here, we might be able to. No, still that rain was in there, and of course over the ice fields it may be snow, but that's what we were kind of seeing, and it's not too bad though. Could be worse, could be a blizzard. Anyway, that is back to the live stuff, and let's take a look at our harmonic tremor chart. So clicking on the wrong thing, and by the way, I had to reboot my computer twice today, both for Windows updates, and man, does that drive me nuts, because it takes over an hour to reset everything properly, and every time I have to reset the streaming software, all the window captures, everything, and it gets a little tedious. Hence the reason for having what I was saying, having a bad day. Anyway, there you see, and we did report on this yesterday, that we started seeing those larger quakes coming in, and we do see here that we had a tremendous amount of tectonic activity, and a lot of those big ones that popped in the fours were all stacked up in kind of the same area, same time era. So very, very cool. And anyway, it dropped for a while, and then you see more spikes from the bigger shakers anyway, and then we ended up getting another 4 right on the, I guess just at the magnitude 4 mark, was about there. So that's kind of what we were seeing, and we are seeing a downward trend though, and not sure if that's anything to really be concerned about right now. We'll probably see a rebound coming after this all subsides a little bit, and we can go from there. A few more people popped in. I see Mark the Shark is here. Welcome. I'm glad to have you on board. And Tom Dice also made it in. Welcome, Tom. And who else? I thought I seen somebody else in here. We got Kathy already. And Robert Ferry, there's the one. And Grandma B too. Welcome, Grandma B. And I think that should be good for right now for our good people. In case I didn't say your name, I will. Oh, Sarah Miles is here. She snuck in too. Grabbed the lava cookie and headed to the lounge. They always do that. Anyway, all right. So that's what we're seeing there. And if we go down, we'll look at the Grimsey chart. Now, Grimsey also had a whole bunch of quakes up on the northern end of the island, but not anywhere near as intense as what we were seeing. And you can actually see some of the activity around midnight there, but it really wasn't that big of a deal for them. They might have felt it, or the sensors may have felt it, but the other ones here, these are more localized up there by Grimsey. And we can take a look at those in a minute. Now is the Grindavik one, and of course with Grindavik, wow, right off the chart, and multiple times, and you can see how much activity is actually in there, in that little area. So a lot of stuff going on all at the same time. It's almost like something snapped, and then it was pushing and letting go, and kind of grinding away, and that's kind of what I'm thinking. Rather than, I mean, it could be pulling apart. Like when the plates pull apart, though, your intensity is less. So they kind of got to be grinding to be able to get that very intense quake activity, and that is kind of weird. Anyway, that's what we're seeing there right now. Let's go back up and put it back on Philadelphia, and there we go. Should be right around there, and I got it. Okay, so we're going to see a bunch of those quakes there, but they will soon disappear, majority of these big ones, because that happened right around the midnight hour there, and I think we're pretty darn close to it. And actually, if we look at, they don't have a clock on that one, or it's so small I can't read it. Old age. The other one had a bigger clock, didn't it? If we put it live, we can see what time it is there. And yep, 23:20. So you can howl at the moon if you like. That's all good. Okay, so going over to our earthquakes, and we'll work our way through that a little bit, and try to make sense of what is going on. I'm going to leave that be down there for a minute. Let's take a look and up here and see what we've got going on. up in the northern portions first. From 1013, we had a magnitude 2.5, 5.7 kilometers down. That's quite a ways out. And then we had a 2.2, 3.6 kilometers down at 1443, and a 2.1, 5.3 kilometers down from 19 minutes after 10. And then we get into another one of these clusters, and there are so many quakes in there, we're not going to go through all of them. We're going to grab a few as samples and just see 2.6, 12.2 kilometers down, 1151 for that guy, 2.85, and there's that magic number, 10.005 kilometers down, and 9:09 a.m. For him. We got a 1.3 down here, 11.4 kilometers down from 1337. Let's grab this 1.9 here, 12 kilometers down, 1307 for him. Maybe something newer here. This one, 1748 was the time on this magnitude 1.5, and 10.2 kilometers down. Let's find something more shallow. These ones are 1.3, 6 kilometers down from 2202. Let's get a 1.2 here, 5.2 kilometers down from 1454. Doc, do you think this similar rift is similar to the Rift Valley in Africa? Yes and no. I'm actually going to say no for the most part. Okay, and we can talk about that in a little bit, but just to kind of let you know what's going to happen. That of course the plates are pulling apart, but we've one of the plates is going on a slight kilter when we're talking the North American and Eurasian plates. They're not pulling apart straight, they're kind of grinding and moving and pulling apart at the same time, but one is on a little bit of a kilter, and again, I'm not sure which one it is, because you know what the way they map things out, it's pretty difficult to tell where the anchor point would be. You know, where do you take your measurement from? Is it the Eurasian plate that's twisting a little bit, or is it the North American plate? Instead of moving, you know, straight on a straight trajectory, it's actually pivoting while it's moving in that same trajectory. And maybe the better way to try to explain that is the same way as what we mentioned about Piggy's place, and where she is, she's on the Aegean plate, and then you, which is a microplate, and then you've got the Anatoly microplate right beside it, and the Anatoly plate is actually doing that same kind of a pivot. And when it pushes up against the Aegean plate, we get a different style of quake happening, and I don't know if there's actually going to be another rift zone there. So it's kind of, you know, these things are twisting rather than moving in a straight line, and that is kind of the gist of it. And you know, hence the reason for seeing mountains and depressions and everything else on this planet as far as the land masses go, and the ocean floor as well. So this is kind of what, it's tectonics really is what it is. And Australia is a solid a place to behold someday. Yeah, it's pretty solid. It still has quakes though. Anyway, and the plate is still moving, and they all are, and that's I guess the beauty of it, if you want to call it that. I don't know if it's a beauty, but it is what it is. Okay, thanks for the 4-minute warning there, Piggy. Anyway, I'm just wondering if we're getting shallower when we go back down here. 0.6, 4.7 kilometers down, 1808 for him. This one still deep, 12.8 kilometers down on this 1.5. And let's take a look at this one, 2, and it was 1.1 kilometer down, so a lot more shallow there. And that was actually from 6:18 this morning, so very interesting. Then we get deep again, this 0.72, that magic number there, 10.005, and then it's on 5:57 in the morning. That one, 10.481 kilometers down for that 1.07 from 2:28 a.m. Let's try this one, 1.06, magic number again, and 2:26 in the morning. And you just grab some fresher ones here. 7.7 kilometers down for this 1.6 from 21:53. So that's kind of what we see there, and you see a whole line of them going this way, and kind of makes you wonder, is something really happening with the plate movement? And this is actually the right direction, and then this kind of comes down and curls back around and then zips over here. And of course, this being kind of the spot where everything is happening right now, it is of great interest, and I'm surprised we are seeing so few on the Arakan Peninsula. And I'm too far out. Did I get that one? Yeah, got that 2.5 up there. But the I would expect, if we're seeing this many out here, why aren't there more here? And you'd think if it is tectonic, we'd see more of a line going up the rift where things are pulling apart, but we're not seeing that. So what the heck is going on, right? Really kind of baffling in that sense, and I don't know what to say about it. I throw it out to you guys, and maybe put some thought to it. It's kind of an odd happening the way it is right now. Hey, Arizona Snowman is here as well, and I see Daryl R popped in. Welcome. And did I miss anyone else? Hopefully not. If I did miss saying hi to you, you can scream at me. You're allowed. It's Monday. And no, nobody screamed at me. It's just everything is not working well today. It's like coordination is out, and I don't know, computer's not doing what it's supposed to. It's one of those days. New island, I think, like Luihi. That is possible, Kathy, but I don't know. If we do have the two plates pulling apart there, it's going to be interesting to see if that raised area that's there, it could drop down. Have you received my emails on Semaru in the past week or day? I did receive an email just before my frustrations were boiling, and I have not looked at it, but thanks, Trev. And some of the ones that I have seen, it's just I don't have a lot of time to spend on that. I'm working on other things, like trying to find a decent job, and that takes a lot of my daytime time and effort. So it's going to be lacking in the stream department a little bit more. Pop-it alert. Uh-oh, that means I got to do something here. Otherwise, I'm going to get attacked, and I know the cat is back. So definitely, the Kraken is back. We'll put this back on, and that. And we'll leave it there for right now. But thanks, Trev. And I will look at those when I get an opportunity. Okay, so they're not being ignored, just so you know that. Anyway, for all those good people who are here, if you're enjoying the show, please do hit that like button and help us out that way. And also, if you're sitting on the sidelines, please do consider hitting the subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and that would be fantastic. And on that friendly note, I'm your host, DrFox2000, here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, where it was actually a very nice day. And I am going to take a break for a few minutes, and I'll be back. So don't go away. Thanks. microphone is back on. Welcome or welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, DrFox2000, and you're watching VolcanoX, a live stream. And thank you, Sue and Obama of Hamsters and Piggy and Kevin and probably a bunch more. And welcome, Sharon Stewart. I see you. I don't hear you, but I see you. Welcome. A few more popped in as well, like Kate, and thanks, Kate. And oh, Mummy of Hamsters also here. Who else snuck in while I was gone? There you go. Got it, Sharon. I hear you. All right. We got Tom earlier. Sharon Stewart in the house, definitely. And Kathy is here. I don't know if I said aloha to you, but I'm glad to have you on board. And who else snuck in? I think I'll leave that for now. Oh, Charlotte. Welcome back, Charlotte. We got Robert Frary already. Linda also here, checking on her stuff outside that's banging. Don't go out there, Linda. It's the ghosts. They're going to be after you in the wind. Anyway, what audio book narrating would suit Dr. Fox as a new income, especially due to the fact that he is bilingual? How about those children's stories about squirrels? Boy, Trev, I'm dyslexic. Yeah, it would take me too long. It would be a non-profit situation. I'd be working for peanuts. Well, hang on. I don't have a job, so I guess peanuts are more pay than I got now. Anyway, there you go. Oh boy. And yeah, soothing voice, but you know, I do have to watch out for my voice, and I've noticed it has changed. And I even listened to myself from a few months ago to right now type of thing in the last couple of streams, and my voice has changed a bit, so not sure why, and it's the last little while, so hopefully you better hope he doesn't lose his voice. There you go. That would be really, really horrible, Kevin, and hopefully I won't. Anyway, do you get more of a voice than me right now? Okay. Well, I understand that, Piggy. You got laryngitis. Oh, I hear my squirrels are back. There's 2 squirrels now, by the way. And a smaller one and a bigger one. The bigger one is the one that always came to eat for us, and the smaller one chased him out of the tree today, so... Anyway, let's keep going with our stuff here. We were looking at the earthquakes, and oh, wrong button. Well, yeah, that's my day. Let's get the other button here, and we'll take a look at the rest of what was happening right around Philadelphia and that area, of course, on the Reykjanes Peninsula. We're not going to go through that mess. There's too many. I mean, you guys want to have a look at it. It's Earthquake 3 is the gets you this map, and you're more than welcome to go peruse those. There's a lot of 4s in there still, a bunch of 3s, and a whole schwack of 2s, and you name it, it's all in there. And it's quite interesting to take a look at all of them. But looking at our Reykjanes Peninsula, we are really not seeing that great of an increase here. And so that is something that is kind of odd and weird. And I figure there should be more somewhere here in the Reykjanes, and we're just not seeing that. So whatever's happening, it is all out here right now. And definitely, you know, doing its own thing. So we'll take a look here, though. The ones right in near our Philadelphia, our original Gelding Gedarler fissures, and then of course our Siggy fissure in this area. Moving up the top area here, that's Lear, and we'll check these here. 0.5, 5.2 kilometers down from 1525 for that guy, and this one is a 0.51, 4.7 kilometers down, and 7:23 a.m. for him. This smaller one, 0.17 and 6 kilometers down for him from 2:55 in the morning. So kind of makes you wonder, these aren't that shallow, and I don't think we're seeing any type of real movement that's going to encourage an eruption right now, or not in the next little while anyway. 12:17 was the time on this, 0.65, and that was 5.6 kilometers down. This one, 0.14, very small, 6 kilometers down from 1:16 a.m., a little closer to the power plant. This one is a 0.59, 5.2 kilometers down from 4:04 in the morning. And of course, for those who need to know, the power plant is here, Blue Lagoon right there. So there's the quake, there's the power plant in the Blue Lagoon. This one being a 0.46, a little bit closer, 2.5 kilometers down for him, 1:33 in the morning. And then we also have this one, 0.32, 3.7 kilometers down from 3:40 this morning. And it's kind of makes you wonder, what's really going on. I mean, we do see all these ones offshore, and again, those are somewhere in the wee hours of the Icelandic time there. So I'm not going to go through too many of them. 1.8 to 8.5 kilometers down, 4:02 in the morning. Let's get some of these stragglers actually. 0.7, 1.1 kilometer down, and that makes you wonder. That was 12 minutes after midnight. This one here, 0.3 of a kilometer down, or 300 meters, and that's pretty close to the surface, but we don't see any other activity right there. 4:50 in the morning. This 1.82, 8.5 clicks down, 4:02. I think we got him. 0.1 over here, 12 kilometers down from 1:24 in the morning. Then we have a 0.7. Oh, jeez, Oz. Thank you kindly for that. You're probably hearing that squirrel. The squirrels haven't been here to get any of those nuts, so my nuts are safe. Osbrumby. I'm writing that down. I know, that's pretty silly, right? Thanks for that wonderful $2 super chat. That is awesome, Oz. Thank you kindly. And anyway, let's see what else we got. Some of these other ones a little further south, that is interesting too, because that's showing a 1.1 kilometer down and 2.3 in magnitude, 9 minutes after midnight. This 2.4 also at 1.1 kilometers down, 17 minutes after midnight. Let's see what this guy was. And him too, 1.1 kilometer down. And that it might be still part of that rise area, but who knows if we could see a new island being pushed up, and all kinds of weird things could happen there. 28 minutes after midnight for that 1.5, by the way. So that was kind of what we got there. I have to take a computer test. Much love. They did a bone scan. I saw the other doc. Much love. Yesterday I caught up on sleep. What do you specialize in, Dr. Fox? I'm not a real doctor. I specialize in foxes. 15 minutes after midnight for that 2.6, and that was 5.3 kilometers down for him. and this 2.4, also 5.3 kilometers down. And yeah, you hear them too, huh, Trev? But they haven't been back, so I'm pretty safe there. Anyway, 1 a.m. for that 2.4. I guess that may be the call of Poppet out there or something. Anyway, we'll leave that be. That's about it. Like I say, you guys can always go over that by typing in earthquake 3 and bringing that map up on your own. Or if you prefer, you can have a look at the other map here. And that I do believe is just earthquake. Hey, Boomer is here. Welcome, Boomer. And good to see you. I haven't seen you for a while. Boomer throws in a $5 super chat. And that is awesome. And really cool to see. Thanks. And $5. Thank you very kindly for that wonderful super chat. Haven't been around in a while, but still enjoy watching you. I've been dealing with lung cancer treatments. Oh boy, Boomer, that is not good, and I hope all the best for you there with the lung cancer treatment, and hope that that'll work and make things good for you. But thank you very kindly for the wonderful support. Appreciate it. And good luck, Kathy. Doc's title is a nickname. Yes, it is. And just to throw it out there for some of you that may not have heard that story, it is actually a nickname that was given to me by a doctor, veterinarian actually, and it was because I saved some kits, little foxes, baby foxes, little kits, and these little kits were, well, actually I ended up rescuing the mother first, and after I rescued her, she actually allowed me to get very, very close and actually pet her little babies. And I think she kind of figured out that I wasn't there to hurt her or anything like that. And animals do have that sense really quick. Anyway, several weeks went by, and she got run over by a vehicle. And of course, somebody had to look after the little ones. They weren't very old yet. Would not have survived on their own. So because they were already familiar with me, they weren't scared of me when I came out, and I actually got all of them, all four, and took them out to Polar Park Wildlife Sanctuary, and the girl veterinarian out there, because I would come out and check on them every week. She kind of nicknamed me Dr. Fox because I took care of them, and that's how the name got in there. And that is back in 2000 is when it happened. So DrFox2000, and that was the name that I stuck with and am sticking with now, and will probably keep it for a while, and it's all good. So that is not a bad thing. Anyway, again, looking at the earthquake maps here, if we crank this up, right now it's sitting on 24 hours for this particular map. If I kick it on to the full week there, we see some of those other quakes as well, and like the ones that happened at Katla, and we did have this one here a while ago. That was oh boy, I can't even remember exactly when that was. Let's see if we can zoom in on it. There we go. And that was on the 12th that happened, and that was 3.5 kilometers down. So that is kind of, if that was happening here now, I'd be very, very interested in seeing what would be happening in the future. But seeing this mess, and here you can see LD Island, or the rock out there, and the raised area, and then this is another raised area there, and this is just beyond that, and you can see some of the Riken's ridge uplifting there, and you know where it is a little shallower, and this, I'm wondering if that's what's going to happen here, if we're going to see the land rise a little bit underneath there in the water. It would be a slow process, but definitely could happen, right? And you know, when you're looking at this for the last week, there's how many stars on here? Those are all over 3 in magnitude, and it kind of makes you wonder if we're getting a substantial lift in some of those areas. So Foxy voiced vetted. Okay, all cool. Anyway, that is interesting, and before we get carried away too far, I do want to go to Etna, and then we'll kind of talk about Stromboli. Stromboli is eased up a bunch, and let's see if we can see some. Oh, that's still in the dark. Here's a sunset scene from Mount Etna today. I did make a time lapse, and we'll show that. And let's get that one going. And I thought it was kind of interesting just to be able to see what was going on there. And in the background there, you see the vents from Etna in the back side, and they were definitely throwing out a lot of steam and gas, and makes you wonder. So both from the top and from the other vents on the other side of the volcano, and you know, I thought that was pretty cool to see. So if we expect to see a high SO2 rating, this is why. You know, it's continuing to do its things. Thanks, Kevin, for that 3-minute warning. And I thought it was pretty awesome. And you see how once the air stands still, how this pluming kind of spreads out in a big circle over top of the volcano. It's kind of neat to see that in a time lapse. At least I like time lapses, and I hope you guys enjoy them too. Definitely a lot more information in a very short period of time, if you will. And I like it. I'm back. Had to chase down my garbage can. Oh boy, Linda, I was going to say, don't go out there. There's bad things out there. But I guess you found the garbage can, so that's all good. Sunset at Etna, and you can see how the glow went, and then the sun finally went down, and pretty awesome there to see that the way it happened. I need rocks in my socks. There you go, Linda, and that is something that I always use for a silly saying, and it's pretty cool. If it's too windy, you got to put rocks in your socks to keep from blowing away. Anyway, that was what that video looked like, and I thought it was kind of nice to be able to share that. That was at just about 6 p.m. Their time, and it was a fairly lovely shot there. And of course, we'll put it back to live. This is what Sicily is looking like right now. By the way, we do have to say those good people in Sicily, they were through a bunch of floods just recently. On the 13th, that rain really washed through Sicily, and they had massive floods and stuff. Hey, Oz, thank you for throwing that gift in there, and Oz Brumby and gifted one membership. So we'll see who gets that as time goes through. And as I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned it yesterday. I think I did. I did get the one that I gifted 5. I did get those back. I got credited back for it because it didn't get sent out. So I'm not sure if that was a YouTube thing or everybody at the time in the channel was already a member, and that can happen as well. But we do really appreciate it, Oz, and thank you very kindly for that. And I see Arizona Snowman no longer has his, so maybe somewhere along the way his will come back, and some of the other ones as well. So we'll see what happens. I'll maybe give mine another shot in a little while here after the next break or something, and see if that works. Once we have lots of people, it should pick up a few more of the good people that are not members, and that way we can keep things happy and going. Okay, it is break time, you guys, so I am going to put it back on our canned lava for right now, or hang on, well, I'm going to put you somewhere else for right now. I'm going to put you onto Ta'al. Linda Schoof, wow, thank you for that, Linda, and thank you very kindly for that $20 super chat. That is very kind of you. Do appreciate that. And Pepsi Fun, you got it. That'll be excellent to use there. And thanks again, Linda. Appreciate it. Okay, yeah, looking at Ta'al, I just figured, yeah, we might as well show that. And that was its current time. So at least let me double check and make sure that I have it live. Nope, not quite. There we go. This should be live now. Maybe. Or maybe we'll get commercials. No, there we go. That's it. It was back a few minutes. So, all good there. And that should be it for right now. And, all right. I'm gonna go take that break. So for all those good people who have not yet hit that like button and you're enjoying the show, by all means do give it a quick shot. And also for those ones sitting on the sidelines, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do consider subscribing. That would be really awesome. And the squirrel's talking to me again, so I don't know what the squirrel is saying, but I hope he's not screaming for nuts. Anyway, I'm your host, DrFox2000. I'm going to take a break for about 5 or 6 minutes, and then we will come back with wonderful bacon seeds. And we've got some weird ones today, sort of. Anyway, the ones I picked out, I don't know if that's good or bad. Anyway, I'll be back. Keep smiling, and don't breathe in any of that bad gas from Ta'al volcano there. And I'll be back. Don't go away. Thanks. And I am back. Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, DrFox2000, and it's, of course, VolcanoX live stream. And I see Grandma B boo-booed earlier, and she said, welcome back. It's okay. No worries, Grandma B. And I know that song sounds similar. Anyway, thanks from Sue, and I hear you from Sharon Stewart there, and thanks Kevin Haynes and Kate and Robert Frary. And the squirrels are saying, look, human, stop talking to yourself and give me your nuts. Ha, ha. Oh boy, is that what they're saying, Trev? I mean, a wonky donkey would know this, eh? Oh, a winky wonky donkey at that. Anyway, glad to have everyone on board. Welcome, old mummy of hamsters. Good to see you. And yeah, it's a little bit too much. Too much. Anyway, I am having a bad day, so we're going to. We'll go over, and I'm glad Piggy is having a good day, though, and that. Of course, her wonderful poppet came back. Anyway, this was the last piggy from yesterday, bacon seed that is, and of course we like that one, Piggy Mouse, and that is awesome. Anyway, here is, for someone who is out for 2 weeks, looks actually in pretty darn good shape. And I think it wasn't being very rough, and that definitely is poppet looking pretty darn good, actually, for someone who was away from home for 2 weeks. And that is actually nice to see, though, right? Anyway, that is poppet, and thanks, Piggy, for sharing that picture, and we will get on. Yeah, Poppet was bad, but I think Poppet was having a hard time too with dealing with the loss, and probably, as Piggy mentioned, probably went out to go look for him, and probably went all over the island looking for the two Scotties. So that's kind of what I figure. Anyway, let's carry on, and we'll keep doing good here. And here's a few, a basket full of Halloween bacon seeds, and they are looking pretty awesome. And if you don't give them treats, they've got some nasty tricks. So always be nice to your piggy trick-or-treaters, and give them lots of candy. They like that, apparently. If you give them too much, though, I think they still turn into devils. Next bacon seed is this wonderful one, and that's another one of those witches, and they do have their witchcraft. All they need is brooms, and away they go. And next bacon seed is, we have another unipig, and that one's got a smile on its face, and look at the size of that purplish pink horn on top of the head. A unipig, very cool. And of course we had one yesterday, slightly different, and that is pretty cool, pretty awesome. Good time and sad time today. Old family photos. Okay, and the bro, and okay. Interesting. And here's some a bacon seed that is all tacoed up and ready to be devoured. And I don't know if that's a real smile. I think that one is kind of pasting its smile on there for the picture, but going, I think you're going to eat me. And I think I prefer my tacos cooked a little bit better and no bacon in them. I like beef tacos. You're safe, Piggy. I like beef tacos, and that is pretty awesome. Next bacon seed is this one, and this one just devoured something, and of course all dressed up for Halloween as well. I think that one needs a little bit of a haircut or something, a little bit of grooming. Looks like static or something. Pretty cool. And yep, chubby porker, maybe. Could be. Anyway, next bacon seed, and this one looks really, really mean. This is dressed up as a dinosaur, and I think has no problem getting past that dinosaur stage. Really, it does look like either he's laughing an evil laugh, like or something. But I know that was bad. Anyway, Jurassic pig, Pigosaurus, possibly. That's actually what I was thinking, Pigosaurus, and they were around back then. Anyway, let's. What did I just cough? Cough that green thing? Yeah, maybe. Oh boy, it's either that or it's getting ready to eat it. One of the two. Anyway, last. Yeah, Jurassic pork. Yeah, good one. Oh, mummy of hamsters. There we go. Jurassic pork. Yep. Anyway, last bacon seed, and if you didn't like any of them, this one is telling you exactly what to do with that thought. So, on those friendly notes, that's our bacon seeds for today. And I see Klaus just came in. Guten Abend, Klaus. And anyway, all good. Howdy, partner. Yeah, and stick your tongue out just to be a smiling one, and that is pretty awesome. Okay, let's keep going with other things, popping over to the Azores maybe for a little bit, and take a look and see what we've got for quakes there. And as I mentioned, I had to redo things twice today on my computer, so some things may be out of kilter and in the wrong places. And let me see if I can make it there. All right, we're on it. You can see the lights of Pico Island off in the distance. We are on the island of St. George, and this area here that's lit up is the harbor. What it looks like during the day, daytime is kind of like that. And of course you can see Mount Pico, or as they call it, Mount Montana, off in the distance there. Hey Thor, welcome. I'm glad to have you on board. Anyway, Mount Montana still looking pretty tall, and you can just see Fayal Island over on the right hand side there with that new set of clouds sitting on top of it. Anyway, we'll go back to this picture, and we see what it looks like, and there's the cove that we normally show, and that'll be the next one that I bring up, and that cove is actually, I don't know how much water is. What we look for out in the forefront here is the amount of white water we see, and yeah, you can actually in these shots here see quite a bit. So the sea is a little bit on the rough side. I did see earlier there on the other shot, while I was watching it, you could really tell that sea was pretty rough. Wouldn't want to be out there. Anyway, let's carry on and see what we have for earthquakes there, and we'll make that a little bit bigger. And so we didn't have any yesterday technically, and well, it is the 17th today, so we're seeing one, and that is a 2.3 from 2018. And this map only deals with what's happening on the island of St. George. or if you want to pronounce it in Portuguese, São Jorge, and that is right there. But let's look at the other map, and things are still loading up here. Oop, and we'll make that a little bit bigger for me and for everyone. Okay, so there's our one quake there, and this is where the other quakes have happened, and there are a few of them. So 20 hours ago we had a 2.7, and 22 hours ago 2.3, 23 hours ago 2.8, and 23 hours ago a 3.3, and that is almost like just time gone from, when we were looking at the stuff on the Rikens Ridge about 23 hours ago. So that means there is some movement on the Eurasian plate, and then that would have possibly pulled up a little bit here somewhere and caused some quakes. Kind of interesting to see that happening, and makes you wonder what the plate is actually doing, if it is twisting or turning or moving, pivoting, and be a really cool actually to see that in an animation of some sort. Anyway, there's that one on St. George 2.3. It is a surface quake. The 2.7 was a surface as well. 2.3, 5 kilometers down. The 3.3, what they're calling it here, 5 kilometers down, 2.85 kilometers down. So all these three about the same depth and the same area. So definitely something moving there, and we'll see what happens in the future. And let me get that back to the right view, and we will carry on with having a look at the other ones. Eddie Oturo. Welcome, glad to have you on board, and that is nice to have you here. I haven't seen you for a while, Eddie. And there we go, going to Mexico, and of course that is Popocatépetl, and let's see if we can crank that up a little bit. Yep. There we go. Okay, a little bit better. A lenticular cloud forming around the top of it as it is being covered up with a bunch of clouds. That is current and live from Popocatépetl. And if we go back a little ways, they did have some breaks in the weather today, which is really nice. They're from just about 5 p.m. You see a little bit of pluming coming off of there. Thor renews a membership. Thanks, Thor. And I'm just gonna write that down. Rasmussen. There we go. Renewed membership. Got it. Thanks for that, Thor. Appreciate it. Anyway, Popocatépetl doing its thing. So, and like I say, it was in and out of the clouds earlier. We did see 1414. You see a little bit of that pluming coming out, fairly white stuff, and then of course for a while it was really gray, and we didn't see a heck of a lot. But earlier in the morning we did see some clearing here. I want to see if we can get it to the right time, and this was about 12 hours ago. That's kind of what it was looking like. It looks like a little bit of frost on the mountain. No snow, though, which is really good. And when we go back a little bit further, and again, it's allowing us to do that 5:45 a.m. This is what we were seeing. Kind of a nice plume coming out. Some clouds going by and some beautiful stars up there. And that is really, really awesome. And for those people who are stargazers, and if you like to watch meteors during meteor showers, this is actually a camera that you might want to consider having a look at, because it is pretty cool. I've seen multiple meteors on this particular camera, like or spaceships like that one that's going by right now. up there. And, things like that. UFOs. I'm kidding. I have no idea what that is. That's an airplane, probably. If it starts to zigzag, then we'll know it's something else. But that looks like it's going in a straight line, and pretty cool. Here and Sakurajima as well. You're right, Robert Ferry. That one too can have some very, very nice shots. So just wanted to throw that out for those people who are looking at it. And I guess we're going to remember, renew, and I thought you just did that. 3-month thing? Okay, I'm confused now. All right, well, I'm glad that you renewed it, and thanks, Thor. Okay, I did write that down. That's weird. Okay, going back a little bit further, this is almost 15 hours ago, and it was basically the same thing. Kind of a little bit more cloud up there, though, at that point in time. Okay, let's carry on here. Current picture from the other side, and that's what it was looking like. And then again, it was hit and miss with the clouds from the other angle here, unfortunately, and we couldn't see as much, but we're not going to worry about that. Going to put that guy back on live, make sure my first one's back on live as well. And let's take a look. And I haven't seen Fuego much today. Again, it too has been playing hide and go seek in the clouds. 1523 though, we've seen that little bit of a plume coming out while it was visible, and that was actually very slow moving. And I kind of thought, okay, is my camera picture frozen? But no, the camera clock is working, and I kind of thought, okay, very, very slow clouds going out of there. Anyway, going back a little bit further, I don't think we had too much visibility on anything. Oh, here's one. I did find a clean spot, and that did actually show a fairly decent plume coming out of there as well. And that is kind of what we had at Fuego, so that is pretty cool. And then it clouded over again. Let's put it back to live. That's what it is right now in Fuego in Guatemala. And this, of course, is Momotombo. We don't have any light there. And that is an old picture of Messiah. And we also no longer can see San Cristobal. And that is also in Nicaragua. Well, I'll leave it back on these ones. I do see it is very close to break time, and we can almost figure out what's happening at Merapi by the looks of the screen. And remember, we were saying that there's all kinds of showers, all kinds of storms in the areas, and that is kind of what we were seeing for the better portion of the night. And I don't think there was a heck of a lot coming through here. Let's see. We did have the moon shot in here, and the moon hiding in the clouds. I thought that was a little spooky looking, but there wasn't a heck of a lot of other clear activity. And again, it's because of the weather that's happening there in our wonderful Indonesian area. Looking at Mount Ruapehu, I don't know how well visible it was earlier. I thought it was a little bit cloudier, and it is too. And when we go back a couple hours, we can barely see it. A little earlier, it was even worse. So live is it's starting to clear up, which is really good. And I hope they have a great day there. And 13:30, so 1:30 in the afternoon for them. Looking not bad. And will I grab Semaru? Oh, what happened here? Looks like they went offline. Okay, we won't do that. We'll go back to here. to canned lava, or hang on. Do I want to do canned lava, or do we want to look at, let's put you on to all, just in case something is happening there. And that is, of course, an orange, so we do want to do that. I think we'll leave it on to all, and I will throw the music back on for all you good people, and I'm going to go take a 5-minute break. So please stick around, more to come, and we'll do our thing. If you're enjoying the show, by all means, do hit that like button. Our target is well over 100. And of course, also, if you have not yet subscribed, do consider subscribing if you want to see more of these wonderful shows. On that friendly note, I'm your host, DrFox2000, and I will be back in about 5 or 6 minutes. Thanks. And I am back. Welcome back, everyone. I'm glad to have you all on board. And thank you to Oh Mummy of Hamsters saying welcome back, Uncle Docs, and Piggy saying welcome back, Daddy of Bunny and Squirrel. Squirtles? Thanks, Sue and Kevin and Mona, welcome, and thanks. And Colin as well, thank you. And Thor, appreciate that. And I hear you from Sharon Stewart, awesome. And thank you very much, everyone. That is cool. Okay, so yeah, since we're here already, let's take a look at Taal. And as you can see, we are doing some interesting off-gassing right now, and seeing those plumes come up a little bit more intense than what we've seen in the last little while. And by the way, Tom, it's not a mouse, it's a hamster. It doesn't have a tail. Anyway, so if you see my hamster, then good. Anyway, we do see what's going on there, and it is definitely producing a lot more steam, and that would be kind of making me think that the floor in that caldera is heating up a little bit more. And if that is what it should be, I should send Piggy or Pepper over to you, Piggy. Not sure if that's good. Tom, send Mr. a Schnauzer. Yep, she wants a Schnauzer, a mini Schnauzer one, and I think those are cute little dogs. They're cool. Anyway, yeah, that bunny is eating away. By the way, definitely more white on Curly today. When I'm looking at him, I can see his bottom end. He's really starting to turn that whiter color, so he'll be white in no time, and he's chowing down pretty good right now. Anyway, looking at Taal, we see a lot more pluming from it, so the future is going to be interesting with that, since it is at an orange state. From the yellow. They did upgrade it a while back, and we'll see what happens. And it'll be interesting to observe and watch, and hopefully it will erupt, but do it in such a manner that nobody gets affected very badly. And moving on, let's go over to Sakurajima. And Sakurajima in Japan is continuing to do what it does, and still steaming away. Lots of times where we see the material looking a little bit on the grayer side, telling us that there's other stuff in there, like not just gassing, that we're actually seeing some particulate matter, tephra, if you will, and ash, that kind of stuff coming out of there. So very interesting to see what's going on. Yeah, we want to check for the ice cream boat, and the ice cream boat is just leaving. Darn it, we missed the ice cream boat. Oh, he's leaving, and we didn't get any ice cream. We'll have to check back in a little while and see if we can catch the next one. But yeah, he's right there. Darn it. I was hoping. I will send her over in Schnauzer outfit, Piggy. Oh boy. That's going to be interesting. That'll be a giant Schnauzer though, Tom. And that's pretty awesome. Anyway, that is our ice cream boat taking off. There, of course, Sakurajima, and what is happening right now. Let's go back and back that up a little bit more, see what else we've seen further back. This at about 25 after 5, or sorry, 6 is what I had noticed. and it was popping out of there a little bit, and really, again, it's not lit up very well, so hard to tell what was really in there. And they did have some foggier weather during the night, so you weren't able to see anything in the background at all. Very difficult to see at that point, but it was continuing to do what it does, and that is throw out a bunch of material. And as of late, I haven't seen any more lava coming out, but we'll see what happens. It's always hard with this one to catch it at the right point in time. Close-up shot of the crater at Sakurajima is no good, and you see the clouds and smoke in the way. Moving on, the other place in Japan, of course, is Aso, and as you can see, the clouds are moving in, and they are moving in quickly with lots of rain, and the caldera is back in there. If we go back a little bit more, we will see that they actually had a whole bunch of steam coming off of it, and that was really kind of interesting and nice, but a lot of steam coming out of there. So I'm wondering if that got heated up, because prior to that, this is what we were seeing earlier, and it really didn't make that much sense to me. All of a sudden, we're seeing more steam coming off of there. And then, of course, prior to that, it was raining again, so it was really, really hard to tell what was actually happening. And that is also Aso-san. And that is what this volcano is in Japan. And that is pretty cool. Now, I did have a couple of pictures of related to Japan, and I wanted to show those, but for some reason they have eluded me here. I think I have found one of them, and this one I did save somewhere, and for the life of me I can't remember where I saved it, but I'm going to try to resave it and bring it onto the screen now. And we'll see if we can do that. I thought it was a very, very cool picture, and a guy in Australia thought it was a nice thing to maybe share with all of you. So give me a second here, and I will try to get that on the screen. It is Mount Fuji, and you're probably saying, well, why are we going to look at Mount Fuji? Special reason, and you'll see in a second, and it is actually worthwhile looking at, and I'm sure you'll enjoy the picture. Give me a second here to actually get it on the screen, and then you can go ooh and ah and all that stuff. So come on, computer, and there we go, and there it is. So that is a very, very interesting picture of Mount Fuji, and I have never seen that before like that, and it is worthwhile looking at, I think. Lenticular clouds stacked up top, and the sunset setting in such a way that it's making them glow. And thank you, Leo Carlson, for sharing that with us. And that is an awesome, awesome picture. So there is your Japan for today. And that's Nat Geo worthy, and you bet that is absolutely fantastic. Give me a second here. I am going to bring you another one, and I am going to try to find it, though I don't know exactly where it's located, but I did have it in here in my good pictures of And this one too is very bizarre. It is a Mount Fuji as well. And let me see if I can put that one up. It's not quite as impressive as the other one, but I personally like it. So here comes the other picture. And give me a second here. I'm just got to load it up. And as soon as I find it, Fuji 2 there. It's a Fuji 2. And we'll see if we can get it into the right location here. Up, go up, there we go, and we'll make that bigger and basically cover the other one up. Okay, so there's something that you don't get to see every day, and that is the shadow of Mount Fuji on the landmass. And I think that is pretty cool too. Yeah, Mount Fuji's shadow showing on the landmass. That is really cool as far as when you're looking at it. And I really have to wonder about it. It's you know, a pretty awesome looking shot, and very sharp and clear, and just about dead center. Really well planned, and a good photography. So I definitely love that one. But I still am totally in love with this shot. This is absolutely wonderful, and just you can't beat that. I mean, like, wow, that is, you know, a really a cool shot, especially with the reflection in the pond and everything, and the pond being so still, and that's a rice field, by the way, and that is what you're seeing there. So really wild, man. Wow. Anyway, let's turn the other stuff back on and get back at it. This, of course, ASO and ASO-san. Did you get my email, Stromboli fireworks? Yep, and that's actually where we're going next. And we'll take a look at Stromboli. Since we already looked at Taal, we'll go over to Stromboli, and there are the Stromboli fireworks. And thank you for sharing that one, Sue. And that is pretty awesome to see that picture as well. And somebody did a capture, so that is really nice. Thank you, Sue, for sharing it. And wow, you know, yep, yeah, holy Stromboli. It is definitely a very nice, impressive Stromboli shot. And somebody left the shutter open for just a little bit longer, and I caught that as the lava bombs were coming down, and that is awesome. So really, I do like some of those shots. Very cool. But speaking of Stromboli, Stromboli isn't a very Stromboli today. Today it's a lot quieter, and we do understand that, you know, it has settled down. Some people were saying it was active this morning, their time, but I have not seen it that active today yet. You know, while I was observing and watching, it wasn't doing a heck of a lot. So, and very noticeable here, even on the thermal, very low levels of thermal stuff coming out. You know, anything super hot, we're not seeing the really bright streaks that we had in there before. And that is kind of unfortunate, but hey, that is Stromboli. Let's see if we can get that going again. That stopped on me. There we go. Clock is ticking. So yeah, that's live again. And yeah, that's kind of Stromboli for right now, unfortunately, and not doing too much. So we'll keep an eye on it. Stromboli comes and goes, and it does its thing, so we don't mind that at all. And I wish we had more of it. Stromboli is actually an interesting volcano to be able to look at and see and stuff. And when it is in the clear skies and shooting out, and very neat eruption style. And of course, that is where they get the Strombolian style of volcanic eruption from, because it comes out in spurts, and it comes out continuously. And this thing has been going for almost 80 years now, with pretty much continuously. Like, there's not a day where it hasn't really done anything. So definitely a good one to keep an eye on. And I just wish we had access to better camera views that were a little bit more legal for us to try to use, right? But unfortunately, we are using the INGV one, and that's all we've got. So time for bed. Good night, all. Stay safe. Tom, Dice, you take care, and be good as well, and sleep well. Pleasant dreams. And Pepper's pleasant dreams as well. Don't snore too loud, otherwise Tom won't get a good sleep. And that's what there's that extra TI I was looking. Oh, you okay. Robert, I hate when they go missing. Anyway, I got it. Okay, so let's leave that be. Pop over to Hawaii real quick, see if that is still intact for me. And I tried to save that, even though I had 2 reboots. I did manage to get it to stay on the 2:06 a.m. capture there. And of course, that was from early in the morning hours from Hawaii, and that is the caldera of Kilauea. And we will take a look at Hawaii a little bit as well. So real quick, this is where the lava comes in, the very bright spots that you see going around the edges. That is where the lava is draining out, and those bright spots are caused by the gas bubbles going upward as the lava is draining down and out. Wherever it is heading, we're not sure, but the gas bubbles are breaking up the thin crusted over lava that is in the lava pond there in the Kilauea crater. Looking at what it looks like right now, we'll refresh that. There you go. Lava level about the same as it was before. You do still see some of the areas where the lava is draining out. You can see it splashing up a little bit. We are still not seeing big amounts in the toe area, but it does look like it is about the same level as what we have in the primary cone there. This is from early in the wee hours again, 2:06 a.m. primary event right about here, lava pond. I can't see the Hornito today, and that is okay. We'll refresh that, take a look at what it looks like right now, if there is a new image, and there is, and we do see it, a primary event, very smoky, barely see the lava pond. We do see that other smoker still continuing there as well. Gonna have to keep an eye on that guy. Still see some smoke coming up fairly high on the edge of the caldera up here, and that is somewhat suspicious. Still thinking that whole piece will eventually fall into the caldera. Also seeing some more smoke in the background here. And let's get over onto the other side, having a look at it from the other side of the caldera, primary vent, lava pond. Very hard to see the toe area in there, and a little bit there of the Hornito. Let's refresh that, look at it right now, and that is what we're seeing. Again, primary vent, the Hornito in there, and you can almost make out a little bit of a dark black area there where that lava tube is actually feeding the lava pond here. And can't see the toe area at all right now. Pig Island is in there, but we're not seeing a heck of a lot else. And let's pop over to the thermal. This is from about 2 a.m. Primary vent. There's your lava Hornito, and the lava tube is underneath in here. There's your toe area, and of course the lava pond itself. We'll refresh that one and see what it looks like right now. And that is the current picture of the thermal. And it does look like we've got some brighter lava in the toe area, but still not anything as bright as what's here. So the flow in here and the levels are still quite low. And that is it for that part. A quick peek over at this is of course the shot from Mauna Loa, from the crater up top, and we are not seeing a heck of a lot. Some stars up in the sky, and that's it. That was from 146. This is from 1446, and that is Mauna Loa up top, and we aren't seeing anything cooking, smoking, bubbling, or oozing out of there yet, but we will in the future. Anyway, it is about break time, you guys, so let's see where we can leave you for the time being. I think Taal is a change since we have been watching that canned lava for a little too long, and I'll leave it here on Taal for you. For all those good people who have not yet hit that like button, please do consider hitting the like if you haven't done it yet, and that does help out. We're trying to get over 100 at least. And also, if you're new and sitting on the outside, please do hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of these wonderful shows. On that friendly note, I'm your host, DrFox2000, here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and I am going to go on a break, and I will be back in about 5 or 6 minutes. Keep smiling, play nice, and hey, go get me a palm tree while you're there. I like palm trees. I'll be back, you guys. Don't go away. Thanks. And there we go. Microphone is back on. Welcome back, everyone. I'm glad to have you all on board. And I see Yvonne Kunkel made it in. Good morning, Yvonne. And glad to have you on board. And thanks, Kevin, and appreciate that. Welcome back. And I hear you from Sharon Stewart. Thank you. I'm glad that I'm here and you can hear me. That is cool. Okay, so we had, thanks, Sue, for the welcome back. And we had a look at our wonderful Hawaii as far as activity physically. Let's take a look at not lagging or sleeping over here. Yeah. Okay, we want to take a look at the earthquakes on Hawaii, and of course there's the entire Hawaiian chain kind of thing. Well, not the whole thing, but close. Anyway, we're not seeing anything on the other islands. Everything again still on the big island of Hawaii itself, and that is pretty cool. But let's take a look at what we've got, and we'll see what we find out there. So looking at this real quick, we'll run through these. 1.7 from 903, 40 kilometers down for that guy. We had a 2.7 from 1150, 1115, 11.5 kilometers down. On depth for the Pahala area. Same thing with that 2.2, same kind of thing, 11.3 kilometers down, 5:49 a.m. today. And let's zoom in a little bit and get these other ones on land, and that's more like normal depth, 34.7 kilometers down for this 2.0 from 2:11 a.m. And then we have a 2.2, 13 kilometers down, and a 407, 406, yeah, 407 in the morning, close enough. 6.3 kilometers down for this 1.8 from 1:58 a.m. Then we got a 1.9 from yesterday at 21:16. That was very shallow, 300 meters down. Below sea level, that is, and that is 2.2 right there, and that is from 1740, and then we've got this guy here, 2.8, a little bit bigger, 1528, and was the time on that, right at sea level. And having a look at this guy, 1.9, 7:45 a.m., 35 kilometers down. I think we got this 2.2 already. Yep, we did. Let's take a look at this new one here. 2.4 from 1826. Standard depth 31.8 kilometers. And then we've got this guy here, which is a 1.8 from 2:05 a.m. 31.8. Clicks down as well. Just right on the north side of Pahala, we got 2.0 from 1822. Clark Hall, welcome. Glad to have you on board. And then we see this guy over here, 2.2, 1604, 31.7 kilometers down for him. And then we'll grab these other ones over by the Fisher Zone. 2.2, 3:54 a.m. For that guy, 30.4 kilometers down. 2.1 from yesterday, 1941. A fine year. 32.5 kilometers down. Then we got a 2.4 from 1534, and that is just about 33 kilometers down. And we got this 1.8, and that was from 4:29 a.m. This guy here, 1.9 from 10:13, and then this 2.0 from 7:50. And those are all in our standard depth area from between the 26 and 37 kilometers down that we always see in the Pahala area. Let's grab this one on the way up the hill, 1.8. Yesterday's 2108, 20.4 kilometers below sea level. This guy is a 3.1, a little bit bigger, and that is yesterday's 2336. and that was half a kilometer below sea level. And then we have this guy here, 1.8, and that was also yesterday's 2126, 1.8 kilometers below sea level. 2.1 right here from today at 826, and that is 700 meters above sea level. This guy here is 2.1, yesterday's 2303, and that is 3.7 kilometers above sea level, so I'm just about right at the surface here, and that is pretty awesome. Looking over at the Kilauea itself, we don't see any quakes there. We do have one here, 2.0 from yesterday, 1922, 3.2 kilometers down, and then there's Kilauea, and we don't see anything happening in there at all, and I don't know, that's kind of it for that area. So a little bit quieter, and with the exception of that 3.1 there, and gonna wonder if we are going to see something happening there at Kilauea, but you never know. Anyway, these fresh ones are always interesting. When you see red dots, it makes you wonder, what's going on? Okay, looking around the world though at some of the other quakes, and of course they have already hidden this one here, that 4.5 USGS only reported that one. They didn't have any of the other ones on there. Anyway, that is technically from yesterday at 17:43 their time, which is not the right time. That happened just about at midnight, so I don't know what the heck they're doing, but okay. Mind you, we did have it in the show yesterday, so it might have been that late already. And showing 10 kilometers down, that is okay. That is, they don't know exactly how deep it is. This is kind of odd. We've had the other ones all in here before, and this one is a little bit further south here, Rankin's Ridge, 4.8, and that was from the 13th though. So that is a little bit odd. And let's see what we've got along the Mexican area here, 4.6 from 1453, and as we go down, Nicaragua, just off the shore, I guess, or right on, very close. Anyway, 4.6, 1701, 182 kilometers down. That's quite a distance. And of course, we have a couple more right on the corner here, the Cocos Plate, and this one 4.5, they're calling it Ecuador, happened at 1:55 a.m., 10 kilometers down. The other one is 4.3 at 2:08 a.m., 10 kilometers down as well. So Cocos Plate on the move, and that is the one end, this is the other end. So definitely something happening there. Sliding down a little bit more, we see a larger one, 5.2 here in Peru, and that was from 7:38 in the morning, 131.7 kilometers down. There's also this 4.3, which is from 1635. It was a little bit deeper at 228 kilometers, sliding over into our New Zealand area. And we see one further down in the southern end, and that is 4.1, and that came in at from yesterday at 21:10, and it was 43.4 kilometers down. And then this one out here by Tonga, 4.5, 14:30 was the time on it, and that is 70 kilometers down. We see this one in Papua New Guinea, 4.8, 5:44 a.m., 64 kilometers down for that guy. A little bit a larger one here in Indonesia, 5.1, and that was 2:13 a.m. Their time. Right here by Luolatak, we see a 4.3, and that is 158 kilometers down. Then there's another one here in Indonesia, 5.0. And that is 7:12 was the time on it, 141 kilometers down. Going up into the Philippines, we see this 4.7, from yesterday at 1957, 119 kilometers down on that. Right next to Taiwan, we see a 5.0, and that is 7:20 a.m. at their time, 9.2 kilometers down for it. And we really don't see anything else all the way up. Pretty quiet that way. Going inland in the Himalayas here, China, 4.7, and that is what we've got right there. 10 kilometers down from 2:48 their local time. Don't see anything new in the European area at all on this map, and that's always the controversy. There's a lot of stuff that the USGS does not report or put on their maps, and I'm not sure why. I just noticed this guy up here, 3.3 up in the Yukon, 1627 today, 21.1 kilometers down. Don't usually see him up there, but hey, anything is possible. And of course, that whole area, well, I guess that's all part of it. This is very active in here, so that is from the subduction. And this is a little bit further north, but it definitely could be something being pushed. And having seen, what was going on in Iceland, it doesn't really make a person wonder too much if the North American plate is actually moving a little bit. That could be doing a little squeeze job there or something. Anyway, that is what we're seeing in those areas. Let's take a look at the Canary Islands, and I'm going to refresh that map just so we have it up to date. And I know, sorry for the white screen, it takes a little bit to get it to redo, and just checking up top here, seeing if these are still the old ones from the 15th, 3.2, yep, and this one also from the 15th, 2.4, so I'm not going to worry about those. And the latest quake, of course, looks like it is over way over here in the water, and that is a 2.4 from 1844. And we'll leave him be. Let's take a look at what's happening on La Palma, though, because that's our wonderful favorite place. And from the 17th today, there's only that one quake, and it was 1.3, 12 kilometers down, so very, very quiet there at La Palma. And maybe all that other seismic energy is being wasted up in Iceland, out in the water. Will be interesting to see. Anyway, going on to our volcano map, I don't think there were any changes. I checked earlier, but I really didn't see anything. And we can go through it again real quick. And we still see our 2 up in Iceland. We see our 2 in the Azores. And looking at what we've got in our Great Ring of Fire, if you want to call it that. Not seeing any changes. These are all still the same. Everything looks the same, really, for the most part. Taupo's still there as a yellow, and White Isle Volcano still as an orange. And of course, we've got Tofua and Home Reef Volcano still showing there. Vanuatu is normal. Papua New Guinea pretty normal there. Luolatok still cooking. Raung still on the list. I'm surprised that it is still there. And Semeru, Merapi, and Krakatau doing their thing. Over here, Barren Island Volcano still there as well. Ibu and Dakono still working away. They had a little quake there, 4.4, enough to shake up the magma some more. And there's that 5.1 29 minutes ago. Very interesting. And this other one is a 5.0. They've been shaken in the area a little bit, I guess. And Can Leon, if I said it right, Can Leon. That one they put back on the map yesterday, and of course And we also have Bulusan back, and Mayon is still there, and Taal, as I mentioned, orange. There's that quake off of Thailand, and our Nishimoshima is still there as an orange. Suwanoshijima and Sakurajima is still there as well. And of course, our addition here of Chikarachi as an orange a couple of days ago doing its thing. And of course, Ibiko and Alade there as well. I thought I had another picture of Ibiko. Yeah, Chikarachi. Chikarachi and Ibiko are on the same island, eh? I did have that somewhere. Let me take a look there, or right there. You can see what it looks like there. There are actually several other volcanoes there on that same island, but there you can definitely see Ibiko, and you can definitely see where Chikarachi is, and yep, they're doing their thing, and that is pretty cool. So we like it. Let's go back here and see if we can get that going. There we go, and zoom out a little bit and slide over and take a look. Yep, Erebus is still there. Heard Island volcano still there, and Reunion Island definitely still there. I was looking for updates on that. I didn't see anything today, and everybody else is still pretty much the same. And of course, Etna there, and of course, Volcano and Stromboli, and of course, Campi showing there as well. And that's it. And there's our two, Grimsvatn and Ascha there. I think Katla is going to be the next one on the list. Just a funny feeling for some reason. We're going to see three of them on here. Katla will be our next one. I'm hoping. Anyway, let's get over and start on the weather. And we'll take a look real quick at our SO2 readings around the world. I do have to refresh those. I did not do that yet. And there we go. And we need to zoom out as soon as my computer catches up. There we go. And looking at North America real quick, we do see it's actually fairly clear. You can definitely see a defined jet stream, and that is now clearing out the area around the Great Lakes as well, pushing that out. But we do have a little bit more of a concentration of SO2 in Alberta and northern portions of Saskatchewan. While we're looking here, we see all this mass, and that is partially from China, and partially from it being stacked up there from all of our stuff coming off the Kamchatka Peninsula, but a lot of it is from China actually, and that is what's getting out there. Going down a little bit more into Central America and those areas, we do see Mexico City and Popocatépetl throwing all that stuff out, but also people pollution for the most part. And here I'm going to have to check into this, because that all of a sudden is a lot of red, and one of these volcanoes has to be doing something, and it almost looks like it's coming from right about here, and that would be Reventador, I believe, and interesting. I'm going to have to check on that one for tomorrow and see if it is in fact erupting like crazy or something, or just odd winds or something. Anyway, going down a little bit more, we see some weather down here on the Chilean coast. So we've got weird banding happening, but it is still trying to push that SO2 across the South American continent. And we see some actually down here, these squiggles that we had before, they're moving along fairly nicely, and we are seeing them now crossing some areas down there in New Zealand, and that is kind of odd. Anyway, White Isle volcano would be creating this, and I do believe this extra plume here is just something that was a part of that system down below. Looking at Melbourne area, we see a little bit of SO2 plume in here, and that is I think from our refineries there, and oil treatment plants, whatever they got. Coking plants here north of Sydney doing their thing. Tofua still off gassing, and same, not as bad as yesterday for Vanuatu, and that's all right. And same thing for up here in Papua New Guinea. They're a little bit easier. We do still see, our guy out here, Luolatak, doing our thing. And then, of course, Raung and Semeru would be right here and doing their stuff. And then we also have in here would be Merapi, and then, of course, Jakarta and Krakatoa doing their thing out here at the west end of Java Island. And of course, Ibu and Dakolo are still making a mess no matter what we do. And I see everything that was in the Philippines is being drawn into that storm, and that is circulating around down here in the bottom end of China and all these other fine countries, and doing their thing, sliding up a little bit more. We're not seeing as much coming from Suwanosi-jima. We are still seeing a lot coming from Sakurajima, so that is still there, and of course China is still doing its thing. And boy, that looks kind of awesome. Neat pattern, but I don't think it's really all that great when you consider it is SO2 gas, right? But anyway, there's the Kamchatka Peninsula sliding over a little bit more and looking down the bottom. We do see South Africa still continuing to do its thing. Same thing with DR Congo. And that, of course, is two volcanoes there, as well as some coking plants. Erta Ale would be right here. And then, of course, we see the extra stuff from Saudi Arabia oil refineries, as well as Kuwait and here in Baghdad and Iraq. And then, yeah, exactly as I suspected, Mount Etna, with what we looked at earlier there, with that pluming straight up and just sitting on top of it. It's because of this circulation that was actually probably sitting over a little bit more on top of it, and it's holding all that material there. So the SO2 level is definitely going up, and it's still not anything over 200 by any means. So that's kind of what they're seeing. Going to be a hazy time there for them right now, and may cause a few breathing problems, but hopefully not too bad. Looking at most of Europe, pretty normal, nothing too outrageous. And this is a little odd. Iceland's showing up really well, and I'm kind of wondering if that is actually from the aluminum smelting plant, or if we have something else going on. And that is something that is always a good question and hard to tell, because the smelting plant would be somewhere around here, yet we're not seeing any right there. We're seeing the wind in this direction. So what's causing that? Certainly not people pollution. There are none. Anyway, we'll see what happens in the future with that. It is actually on time for me to take another break, and I do need to do that. I can't keep going. My voice is actually starting to crack on me. So what we'll do is we'll come back after the break and do the rest of the weather. So, tourists, Robert, that could be it. There'd be a lot of tourists. And on that friendly note, I will put you back. Where am I going to put you? I'll put you here. It's a nice picture. I like it. So you can watch the traffic go by, and it'll all be good. And of course, that is Taal Volcano out there in Taal Lake, for those who don't know. And on that friendly note, I'm your host, DrFox2000, here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I'm going to go take a 5-minute break or thereabouts, and then we'll be coming back and finishing up and doing the weather, and then that'll be it. So stick around and keep smiling and keep chatting, and I'm going to throw some music on, and don't go away. We'll be back soon. Thanks. And there we go. Microphone is back on, and we're good to go. And thank you, oh mummy of hamsters, and Sue and Kevin. Really do appreciate that, you guys, with the welcome backs. That's awesome. I see we're at 96 likes, getting closer. And Sharon Stewart says, "I hear you." Awesome. And definitely getting closer to that 100 mark. Hopefully we will make it over, and that would be really, really cool and awesome. Okay, let's get on to the rest of our weather that we wanted to talk about on the worldwide weather map here. And we'll take a quick peek and boo. And of course we see up in the northern climes, very, very cold up there in the well below minus 20 degrees Celsius. Even Iceland is, Greenland is warmer in some of the areas, but Baffin Island up here, brr, 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 or is that Ellesmere? I can't remember which one it is. It's cold up there. I don't want to go there. Anyway, looking at Alaska, they are getting some colder temperatures as well, moving into winter. And we see in the Yukon, definitely kind of cooler as well, single digits, colder up in the northern ends. Ellesmere, yeah, the big one is Ellesmere, and this is Baffin, I believe, yeah, Baffin Island, Baffin Bay, Davis Strait. Yeah, it's always hard to keep those things straight in my head. Anyway, we do see this kind of an odd circulation with this moving upward into that low up top here, which is telling us that it's pulling that cold air out of here. But take a look at what we're seeing there, minus 5, 6, 7 in some places. Very cold in Manitoba and northern Ontario, whereas out here in portions of Saskatchewan and definitely in Alberta, a lot warmer, and British Columbia is still holding a lot of that heat as well. Looking at what's happening, it looks like it's dipping all the way down here. Minnesota, those areas are very cold, and actually North and South Dakota, half of it very cold as well. And tip of Ontario here, single digits for sure. Looking at Toronto, coming in about 5, 6 degrees. Sliding up the St. Lawrence Seaway, a lot warmer, and of course 11 degrees there, which is really nice for this time of year. Sliding up a little bit more, looking at the top end of New Brunswick, a little bit cooler, but bottom end here a lot warmer. And then looking at what Sue Hayes has got there for her temperatures, probably somewhere in the 12 degree mark, roughly. Hey Tetra, welcome on board. And Sue is bringing up 14 degrees. Holy Batman, that's nice. A little cooler though in PEI, and then of course getting over here in Newfoundland, ranging anywhere from 15 to about 9 degrees for the most part. So that's what we're seeing there. A little colder though once you get up into Labrador area up in the top here, very cold. And then of course top end of Quebec, really, really cold. Anyway, having a quick look at the United States, western portions of the U.S. again are still very, very warm, and that includes Montana, a little bit colder, of course, on the higher elevations in Wyoming, and then we go down to Colorado, a little cooler there as well. Same thing with New Mexico, but still seeing a lot of heat in Phoenix and those places. Death Valley coming in at about 21 degrees Celsius. We see there's a couple spots there where we're actually seeing some 30s yet, but it is starting to cool off in the western portions of the U.S. as well. Mexicali probably only about 25, 26 today. Out here on that area of the lake, I guess 29 degrees. Phoenix has even cooled off a bunch and coming in at about 24 thereabouts. Where the heck is Furnace Creek? Furnace Creek, 29 degrees C. Robert, that's too warm. That's not allowed. You're not allowed to have temperatures like that. Yeah. Anyway, in New Mexico, cold. And looking at Texas, definitely getting into fall now. We see that Houston 19, San Antonio about 17, Dallas 14 as we go around a little bit, and looking a lot colder for a lot of the other places, and looks like halfway through Arkansas, and then all the way Tennessee, pretty cold, and cold north of that, and we are seeing some very, very cold temperatures. They are below freezing, and yep, 3-4 degrees Celsius, minus 3 or 4 or 5, depending on where you are. Chicago probably coming in at 3 degrees. Yep, we see that low sitting right on top of Ontario, on the bottom end of Ontario, and that is helping to draw down that cold air. That needs to move, and where it needs to go is up into Quebec, right? That's where we want that low to go. Go up, and way up. Anyway, looking at some of the other states here, Louisiana and Mississippi, those areas still holding some decent temperatures. And then when we get into Alabama and the panhandle here of Florida and Georgia, they have a lot nicer temps. And that is also South Carolina, North Carolina, until you get up into the hills. And that is the East Coast looking pretty darn nice right now. Down on the bottom end of Florida, Miami coming in at 27 roughly, and about 24, 25 in the rest of these areas. Not bad weather. Mexico, even a little bit on the cool side. We weren't seeing any more 30-degree temperatures along that western coast. And what's we got in Cancun today, 26, 27. So that's kind of cooled off just a tad as well. We are seeing South America, though, starting to warm up some more. And Brazil definitely showing more heat than we had before. And that is all kind of part and parcel for this time of year. As the climate changes, the sun goes through its cycle, or the earth tilts, and we're going to end up heading for winter in the northern hemisphere and summer in the southern hemisphere, and that is the way it is. Anyway, we see at this high here, it's kind of a mixed blessing. It is bringing some cooler air plus some hot mixed air into those places, and Buenos Aires coming in about 15 there. We had 21 in Rio de Janeiro, and what do we got? Sao Paulo coming in at 16, and Uruguay kind of about the same as Buenos Aires, and looking at Paraguay, a little bit warmer. That actually looks like not bad temperatures there for them. And actually, it doesn't look like they're getting too bad temps in Chile. A little bit warmer, which is nice. And looking at what we've got in New Zealand, this high circulating here is drawing up some of that cold air still, and that is not really helping them a heck of a lot. But at least they are reasonable temperatures, not really, really cold. Northern Ireland looking a lot better up here on the peninsula, up to 18 and 19 on this corner. So not bad at all for Northern Ireland of New Zealand. And looks like Tasmania has warmed up slightly as well. And we see some of those places like Hobart, 15 degrees. Along the coastline, looking at warmer weather, and that is partially complements of that high, but there's other circulations going on here, and we see this cut here and this low down here, is going to be possibly moving that ridge line through here a little bit in the next day or so. So we'll see what happens. And Melbourne coming in at 15, 16 degrees. We have Adelaide at 19, so a lot more temperature there. Perth at 18, which is awesome. Sydney 17, and home of the Oz coming in at 24 degrees Celsius. I think Oz is living in the right place. That is a lot warmer there. Oz, I have a question for you. Has it ever snowed in Brisbane? That is the question. Has it ever snowed in Brisbane, Australia? I have never heard of snow there, but I'm just wondering. And northern portions of Australia looking very nice as far as temperatures going back up. And of course, the places like Philippines, not Philippines, Fiji, and so on and so forth, doing very, very well over there, temperature-wise, and not bad in the Malaysian, Indonesian, and Philippine area. Coming in at what we got for Bangkok weather, 27 degrees, 27 on the that map, and here as well on the screen. So awesome. And that is nice to see. I see this Nisat is still in the area here, South China Sea, still going like mad, and I'm surprised it hasn't made landfall yet, and that thing's just been sitting there and churning. Hopefully it'll move and dissipate and allow them to warm up a bit. Well, actually, it's not going to change anything really in that area. It'll allow it to warm up here a little bit, but it's going to still be the same temperatures in Manila, 28, 29. That's really not going to change much. Sliding up, we do see this ridge line here, and Japan a lot colder than what it was yesterday, and we are seeing single digits up in the northern ends, and low teens for the most part, up to about halfway through. Then it gets back up above the halfway point there. Korea fairly cool, seeing Seoul coming in at about 9 degrees. Kamchatka Peninsula has that low sitting on top of it, pulling all the Arctic air down on there, and getting colder. And looking at our west coast with this low and that low, right now that's actually bringing up some warmer air, and that's actually keeping the coastal area warmer. Then that is also what is helping bring that warm air into us here in Alberta, which is really nice. And sliding over, we do see pretty normal in India, South Africa, bottom end a little cooler, Cape Town 16 today, and that is for this time of the year is not bad. And looking at Central Africa, pretty normal. Nothing unusual. A lot cooler in the Middle East, as we call it. So Iraq, Iran, and Saudi Arabia, a lot cooler. UAE, even a lot cooler. And not too many places. Nothing over 30 anymore. Oman, also a lot cooler. Same thing with Yemen. And that's kind of what we're seeing there. There is a little bit of 30-degree temperature still left there. You got to remember it's nighttime temps right now, and that is what we're seeing there in our western portions of the Sahara Desert. Looking at what the temperature is for Piggy, she's got probably 21, 22 degrees Celsius there. And we'll check that real quick. Piggy's temperatures, and we'll see what we got. And there we go, 19. So not bad. It is nighttime, and that is what we expect there. Looking at Sicily, a little warmer than yesterday, actually, and that is probably all right. bottom heel of the boot here, not too bad, and even the toe and the coastal areas are not bad, but the interior higher elevations definitely cooling off. Milano only coming in at 13, 14. New Monkland here in Sardinia still holding some nice temperatures at the coasts, but for higher elevations again a little bit cooler. Seeing what's going on here in Spain and Portugal. Of course, they've got that big stream flowing in here. Actually, it's two lows. I thought it was just one, but that is drawing some of that warmer air and helping redistribute it into the Spanish area right now. And the benefit is also here in France, so not bad, and all of Europe really. Bottom end of Germany, a little on the cold side, but that is okay. And Kevin says, thank you, Dr. Fox and Mods, and for the stream. Good night, all. Good night, Kevin, and take care. And that is awesome. And yeah, the awesome part on the, I'm still only seeing 99 on mine, Canon Ascus. Don't see that 100 yet. I'm hoping that will get one more in there, and that'll bring it over. Anyway, Germany looking not bad. Berlin coming in at 16 today. Hamburg 13. That's a little bit warmer than what we were seeing yesterday. England not quite as warm, single digits for the most part, and that is what we're seeing until you get down on the very bottom end of the coast here. A little bit warmer, but cold for the most part. And same thing goes, actually, Denmark, a little bit warmer than, yeah, it's not bad there. Kind of the same as Germany almost. And the bottom end of Sweden doesn't look too bad. Oslo, though, on the other hand, Finland, a lot colder, 5 in Oslo, and 8 and 8, 9 in Stockholm. Looking at Riga coming in at 14, wow, and St. Petersburg or Leningrad is about 8 degrees. And looking at Iceland, let's have a quick peek and see 1 degree in Reykjavik. Too cold, and that is Iceland, of course. It is turning into winter. And you got to remember they are really far north, so that's kind of what we're seeing there. Let's take a look at some of the precipitation around there, and we'll see what it looks like. I'm going to try to do this a little bit quicker here. Ice rain up in the Northwest Territories and way up in most portions of Canada. We see rain along the western coast of British Columbia and Alaska. And if we zoom in here, we see that circulation, that low that's sitting right in the bottom end of Ontario is still circulating all that stuff. There's snow coming down in some places, and not good for those guys. We see Boston and that area's got some stormy stuff going on. Sue is probably getting a little bit of rain there out there in Nova Scotia, nothing in Newfoundland, going up a little bit higher here in Quebec and Labrador, seeing some of that. Also sliding down the coast here all the way to Florida. We do see these storms in here going through, so that is kind of odd and weird, but they're happening, and the rest of the landmass looks pretty dry. And it looks like the Grandma B might be just getting the end bits of some rain there in some over there anyway. The rest of the U.S. looks pretty good. Not very much in Arizona and New Mexico, even though New Mexico is fairly cool, that might be helping keep it dry. And down on the bottom end of Texas, we see a little bit there, right where it is getting onto the border. And here's why our stuff down in Central America is always so hard to view. Lots of stormy activity going on there. And it being nighttime, we're not going to see as much rain in the Amazon and that area. So that's kind of letting up a little bit right now, as well as here in the Paraguay and then into Bolivia, some rain. I'm sure they don't mind that right now, and that area gets pretty dry in here. So seeing that is good. And same thing with this one, adding some extra snow for the rivers to be able to produce some more water. Sliding over to New Zealand, and here's what we're seeing, a bunch of rain area in the South Island and North Island. They've got those nicer temperatures and not very much rain happening there at all. Sliding over to Tasmania, looks dry right now. Same thing goes for Melbourne and area, but they do have this system in here, and that is probably some welcome moisture, and that is all good. Looks like possibly some rain in Sydney and maybe some showers there in Brisbane as well. Nothing in Perth right now. Sliding up a little bit more. Actually, we should go out here and look. Tonga and those areas might have had some storms come through. Looks like Fiji's getting some. Vanuatu area is getting some rain as well as Papua New Guinea, and of course the reasons we can't see a few of the other ones right down here on Java. Lots of storms happening there. Sliding up into the Philippines, we also see intermittent stuff going through it, and of course this and Nisat here in South China Sea definitely doing its thing, and popping all over the place. So let's see, going up a little bit more. Yeah, we see those cold breezes coming down out of China, and all over Japan. We do see some rain in Japan as well, and that shear front. And boy, that looks nasty, and there's that low sitting there, and I would not want to be on the Kamchatka Peninsula today. That looks horrible. And of course we've got that low out there in the Pacific. That's going to come and make landfall eventually. Looking at India, Indian Ocean, a couple of lows, but nothing too massive or too hard to deal with. A little bit of rain on the west side of Madagascar, and looks like a high down here in the southern portions of South Africa has got the high. So all right, trying to keep going here. Jungle areas, central portions of Africa, definitely getting some rain. And here is what we've got for Turkey and that area. We do see this low out here, the island of Crete, and of course the island of Kos where Piggy is. I don't think there's any rain coming for her right away, but some colder temperatures are probably going to blow in. We do see a little bit of rain in Greece, and same thing with around Sicily, and not so much in Italy. Nothing in Sardinia. Sliding over a little bit more, not seeing any rain, or very, very little in Spain or Portugal. And then we do see this system here in part of France and Belgium, and going into through Germany. So they do have that system going there. And then of course we've got a lot of fog in England from the looks of things. And let's cool off a little more and take a look up here, and all that snow. Yep, Santa Claus is going to be importing snow from there in no time. Mirage up a bit. What? Okay. Anyway, we see that nasty low up here north of Russia, and that's not so good. We'll leave that be. And that is about it. We see here Greenland getting more snow, and of course Baffin Bay and then Davis Strait definitely getting some wind and snow from that low there. And that's basically our precipitation. Let's pop back over to temperatures. And Kathy H., welcome, and glad to have you on board. And also welcome to Mirage. And let's find the coldest temperature on the planet right now. And so far I'm only seeing minus 61. There's got to be something colder than that. And that is way too warm. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit and see. There's got to be colder places than that. Holy Batman, that is actually quite warm. Where are we? Where's my cold spots? I'm not seeing them. Check in the highs. No. Yeah, I don't know. I'm only seeing a minus 61 for a low. And I don't know. That's kind of weird. Should be seeing a lower temperatures here somewhere. Minus 61. Yeah, I found a bunch of minus 61s, but that's it. So I'm going to leave it at that. It is minus 61 degrees Celsius is the one I found. Sue found minus 64. Sue wins. Sue gets that free trip down to Antarctica to go skiing with the penguins and experience the, what do they call it? The March of the Penguins. That's it. And that would be pretty awesome. Gwen Zed, welcome, as well as Judy L. And I live near St. Jacobs, Kitchener, Ontario. Oh, and you're getting colder temperatures there right now. And okay, awesome. And no worries. Okay, that basically wraps up our show for today, you guys. And I'm basically running a little bit late here, but that is all good. So pretty cool, and love having everyone on here. Thank you, everyone. I see we definitely got over that 100 mark. That is awesome. Thank you for the 100 plus likes. That is all great. And I'm going to throw you back on the canned lava here. And there we go. And that is pretty cool. And with that, a friendly note, I want to say a big thank you to Oz for her super chat, Boomer for his super chat, and Oz for gifting one membership there, and then Linda Schoof for her wonderful super chat. Thank you very kindly. And then we had Thor renew his membership as well. So awesome. Big thank you to all of you for that support. Thank you to every one of the members in here for that wonderful support. You guys are awesome, and really makes it a little bit better, and allows for things to keep going. So thank you very, very kindly. And also I want to say a big thank you to our moderators. So Arizona Snowman, Piggy, C&D Boy, and possibly Gary, 24/7 Live AZ Skies, hiding in the background, as well as the others that may have been in the background as well. So thank you, moderators. You guys are cool, and I appreciate it. And I do want to say thank you, everyone, the whole Lava family, of course, every one of you. Without you guys, the stream would not be here. So thank you. Oh, Mommy of Hamsters, wow, thanks for that super chat. Mommy, I'm going to write that down. And thank you for that $5 super chat. That's very kind of you. Appreciate it, and thanks a lot. Okay, on that friendly note, though, time for me to wrap it up and say good night to everyone. We will see everyone tomorrow, and be good and take care of yourselves. And please, please tell your loved ones that you love them tonight, for tomorrow is never promised. I'm your host, DrFox2000, here at Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Take care, and oink oink. Good night, everyone.